We look at it more as a parenting program. Based on the idea that most kids don't enter school until they're 4, even 5 years of age. So in Reach Out and Read, we like to say that the parents are kind of the first and best teacher for the child. And you're in a really, really impactful time in the child's life. The American Academy of Pediatrics calls the first 3 years the first 1,000 days of brain development. And it's a pretty amazing time because the brain itself is not only getting bigger, but it's actually learning how to work. So the more input a child gets in the first 3 years of life, it really pays dividends, not just during the first 3, but really throughout the rest of their life. And how we use it as providers is basically we have the book and a well child checkup and we give it to the family. So not only do we sort of provide them with a book, but we also get some assessment of developmental abilities for the child, so we can see how does the child manipulate the book? How do they look at it? Do they sort of look at the caretaker to sort of say, boy, this is something where they want to have that engagement? So you really gain a lot of information about the developmental level of the child right off the bat, just by handing them the book as the well child checkup starts. And then what it does, it really puts first and foremost the idea of reading, but also reading at a very early age. I think people understand the importance of reading. It's something that we're all very familiar with it, but the one key concept we like to get across is just how early kids benefit from looking at books. So a 6-month-old, for example, does not have to sit for an hour and read to get benefits from it. Just being exposed to books, how to turn pages, having the sort of the parent actually pointing at pictures, naming objects, naming colors, kind of working their way through, even if it's for a brief moment, that 6-month-old will really sort of gain those sort of visual and verbal skills that'll help them later on from a language standpoint. So the Reach Out and Read program, not only does it put reading first and foremost, but it also puts it at the exact right time that kids need it, which is early in their life, starting as early as 6 months of age, even earlier if necessary. And it gives the parent the sort of the understanding of how important it is, but also then gives them the physical tool to actually do it at home. So it's usually very well received by families. It's certainly, we see kids who are benefited from all the time. Number one, they anticipate the book as soon as we enter the room. So I think kids are used to getting them. It makes it fun to go to the doctor. It makes them sort of realize that their doctor really feels that sort of reading is a very, very important part of their overall health. So kids definitely benefit from that standpoint. And it's amazing how often we have people reflect back to say, oh, they still look at the last book that you gave. And it's kind of nice to hear that sort of evidence that people are using the books and it's changing how they interact with their children. And the amazing thing is the national evidence shows that it actually does work. Kids and families who go through the Reach Out and Read program are almost 3 times as likely to read on a regular basis to their child. And I think of all the things when we sort of want to put our money and effort and energy towards things in our society to try and make things a better place, it's really giving parents the tool and sort of the ability and the sort of the idea that they're really their child's first teacher, their best teacher. And during all those busy, crazy moments of having a toddler, if they can find time to work reading and books into that busy schedule, that it'll sort of pay dividends for their child, not just in the first 3 years, but really their entire life.